Hello and welcome to EGW Writings Tech Tips. I'm your host, Darryl Thompson. Today we're looking at the EGW Writings 2 app on my iPad, and we're going to learn about my library. But first of all, when you see the home screen of my iPad here, you notice that there's a series of 9 different areas that we can go into. And on the top left-hand corner here, there is my library. What is my library? Well, let's tap on it and see what happens. When I've tapped on it, it has gone back to the exact paragraph and chapter of the book Acts of the Apostles that I was last reading. Now, some of you may be familiar with the Apple Books app. Others of you may be familiar with the Kindle Reader app. Some of you may even use the Google Books. No matter what ecosystem of book readers that you're familiar with, they all work in this way. You download a book, you open up, and you read it. When you exit out, it remembers the last location that you were reading. Well, what we have done is in the EGW Writings 2 app, we have built my library to be just like Kindle Books or just like Apple Books. You tap on my library and it will enter back into the last location that you were reading in the book. Now, maybe you want to read multiple books, and much like Apple Books, there is a bookshelf. So I can go back and look here. This is my bookshelf. And it says, look, I was there a few seconds ago, 6 days ago, I was here, and that's when it synced all my app. So it will go through and it will do a sync of what I was last reading and the books that I was in. So if I come back into welfare ministry, for example, I was just into the home screen. I actually hadn't started reading it. I just downloaded the book, ready for reading. And then I can go through the menu, and let's say I come here to chapter 3, and I'm scrolling through and I go, oops, I got a telephone call. I stop and I leave the app and I never get to it. So I close the app. Maybe it's completely closed out. I come back the next time I have time to continue on reading the book, and I tap here on the EGW Writings 2 app, and then I tap on my library, and look, it takes me back directly to the exact place in welfare ministry, page 32, paragraph 3. So my library is totally independent of all the other operations that you do within the app. So if you're doing a search, it will not be affected, my library, in any way. If I go and I browse in all collections and open up a book, this will not be added into my library because I'm just browsing. If I come back and I do a search and I look for the word faith and I go to Acts of the Apostles on page 15, you notice that when I come back to my library, it'll take me back to Women's Welfare Ministry, but if I go back into Acts of the Apostles, it'll take me down to chapter 6 again, not to page 15 where I went and opened it up in search. So that's the unique benefit of my library within the EGW Writings 2 app. It is there for you to be able to read a book chapter by chapter, page by page, whenever you have the time to get to it. So that's a real useful feature that we've built into the EGW Writings 2 app, and that is my library. Now, you can add multiple languages. You don't have to be limited to just English. If you are bilingual and say you speak Spanish or Portuguese or French or any of the other 133 languages that we have available in our app, you can actually put those and download them onto your library shelf and go through and read them. No matter what book you download and put into your library, you can read it piece by piece, bit by bit, chapter by chapter. All right. Thank you for tuning in to another Tech Tips today. Or remember, go with God and be blessed.